A very good morning, everyone. Today, I, Sween and Ipshita, on behalf of Gurushala, welcomes you all to the second day of online teachers training on strategies for virtual teaching. The teachers from Siddipet, Telangana are joining us today. Here, I would like to mention that Gurushala is an initiative of Vodafone India Foundation and Indus Towers and is implemented by Pratham Education Foundation. Before starting with the session, I would like to have a quick recap of what we discussed yesterday. So, yesterday we spoke about the challenges that our teachers are facing during the lockdown situation. We also discussed about how can we overcome those challenges. We also shared about how can we plan our virtual classes in a more effective and a better manner. And we also had a discussion on collaborations as to how we can see the collaborations during the lockdown period as an opportunity with various community stakeholders. We also discussed a framework of watch, think, and practice so that we can make our students self directed and independent learners. Today, we will be discussing in more details about the practice component of this particular framework, and we will also be discussing about assessments. As we are teaching from home, so it is also important that we can conduct our assessments from home using virtual platforms as well as our phone. So we'll be discussing about assessments in detail. We will also be discussing about the content creation part, as in these times we are sharing a number of content pieces with our students. So how can we effectively create our content? Also, we will be discussing about what can be the post lockdown scenarios and how can we overcome those challenges that we might face in the school after the lockdown. So we will be discussing about all these things, and we will be discussing a number of strategies around these. So just to before starting the session, I would like to welcome our very special guest of the day. So I would like to welcome Dr. Talapalli Ramesh sir. We welcome you, sir. Sir is the sectoral officer, Siddipet district. He is an academic monitoring officer and an in charge of teacher training program. He has formed various academic support groups and successfully implemented various programs. It is pleasure having you, sir. So would you like to share your message for our teachers today?
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, it's a very good program. Actually, we are all staying at our homes due to this spread of this pandemic COVID-19. So, Gurushala, when I was contacted by Madam Tanvi Mishra, and she shared about the training programs that are being conducted online. So, myself and the team are also very much pleased to extend your training programs to our district teachers. Actually, this is a very good program. So, and our teachers also very eagerly waiting to have this kind of training programs. Yesterday also, I have seen that some of the sessions I watched and very useful for our teachers. So anyhow, one thing I would like to mention that this whatever the opportunity we may have to improve our skills, either through offline or online, so we must utilize in a proper way. So today's sessions are particularly virtual teaching, how to develop the content material or how to access the provide access to the children. But we have some positive things, and we have merits and demerits to online, because so there are some issues even. So the government also take necessary steps to provide this digital access to get all the skills updated and developed further. So this program, the second day program, as you have mentioned, regarding the virtual teaching and how to develop the content material and all those things will definitely bring a good awareness among the teachers community of Siddipet districts. I hope you will get success, and I request all the teachers to pay your attention to entire the session, all the sessions, and also complete your feedback and also what we call evaluation. Then you will get certificates. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure having you with us. Thank you so much for taking out time. So it was a pleasure having sir, and all his words are really enlightening and valuable for us. So to start with the session, first of all, I would like to mention that we will be declaring the winners of yesterday's session by the end of today's session. So I know you all are very excited about it. So stay tuned and be with us till the end of the session. We'll be declaring the winners by the end of this session. So today, now we are starting with the session, and I would like to ask Ipshita to mention about the points that we need to keep in mind throughout our training session.
A very good morning to all the teachers, and welcome to Gurushala Day 2 training online training session. So let's go to the various things that we need to keep in mind during the training program. First of all, we need to keep a notepad handy and a pen with us so that if we want to refer to some points by the end of the session, we have the points jotted down in front of us. During the training program, we'll also conduct various activities with teachers and we'll ask you questions. The teachers can answer the questions in the YouTube chat section. All the answers should be in English or SMS language. At the end of the session, we'll be sharing a Google assessment form with all the teachers. For we don't want teachers to miss any kind of update or event happening on the Gurushala platform. So we request all the teachers to please like, share, and subscribe to Gurushala's YouTube channel and Facebook page. A very important mind that at the end of day 2 that today, a Google assessment form will be shared with all the teachers, and the criteria for receiving the certificate would be to achieve a score of 50% and above, and a certificate of accomplishment will be provided to the teachers. So, Sween, as we conducted many activities with the teachers yesterday, so what are the fun activities that we have planned for today's training program?
Right, Ipshita? So, as we yesterday had a lot of activities along with the discussion and the strategies, today also we are having different activities like fastest finger first and guess the word as we had yesterday. Today we are also having a new activity which is audience poll. So, we'll be having such activities in between our session. So let us now start with the very first activity. It is also a recap of what we discussed yesterday. So in this fastest finger first, our teachers have to share that what is the three-step framework through which we can make the students independent and self-directed learners. So our teachers can share their answers in the comment section, and our timer is starting here. We are having 1 minute time.
Right, Sween. So this activity can be a recapitulation of yesterday's training also. So let's see how much the teachers, they are trying, they can recapitulate what they learned in yesterday's training program. So I can see the teachers have started answering in the comment section.
Right, Ipshita. Our teachers are answering and they're thinking about what framework we discussed yesterday. What was this three-step framework? So, Mahiji is saying that one of the components, one of the steps was watch. Ranjani ji is also saying that one of the components was think and another step was practice. There are some other suggestions as well, as Satish ji is saying that we can have project works also. And Jayashri ji is saying that the three-step process is watch, think, and practice. So, Ipshita, here our time is also over, and it shows that our teachers are able to have a recap and they remember that the three step framework that we shared yesterday. So let us take our teachers briefly through this framework of watch, think, and practice.
Right, Sween. So yesterday we discussed with the teacher the unique framework of watch, think, practice, which will lead and which inculcate the independent learning process in children. So in the watch section, we told the teachers to share various visual aids which will help the children to enhance their observation skills. In the think section, we told them to provide some leading questions associated with the visual aid or the video shared so that they can build connections between the concepts and also relate those concepts along with various subjects through interdisciplinary project also. This will also develop the sense of curiosity and inquisitiveness in the children. In the practice concept that we'll be sharing with the teachers today, we'll tell them that how to assess and how to evaluate the students and how to know how much concept they have grasped from all the two other concepts. So, Sween, let's move on to our next activity, where teachers can share with us that what are the various ways in which we can tell the students to practice the concepts of a particular subject.
Right, Ipshita? So we are having another fastest finger first for our teachers. So in this activity, our teachers need to tell us that within 60 seconds, that what can be the two ways by which we can make our students practice the concepts of a particular subject. So we are having 1 minute time here, and our teachers can share the comments in the comment section.
Right, Sween. I can see the teachers have started answering few of I can see few of the comments in the chat section also.
Right. So, as we can see, Khande Rao ji is saying that we can provide children project work quiz, picture book reading, and children unions. So, yeah, this can be a way of making our students practice. Sadat Ali ji is saying that we can make our students participate. And a few of our other teachers are also sharing different ways in which we can make our students practice. Like Goliji is saying we can have worksheets for our students. Padmaji is saying that we can have real life examples. So, Ipshita, are we getting some more comments from our teachers?
Right, Sween. So as we can see, that sir is saying that giving homework and project work to students will inculcate the practice concepts in them. And then
Right.
Harsha ji is saying that by drawing the pictures, teachers can give various drawing projects to the children, and then they can inculcate the practice concepts in them.
Right, Ipshita. So here our time is also over, and we can see that our teachers are having various innovative and engaging activities to make our students practice the concepts on which they have had a visual aid and they have thought of. So these ideas can be used in practice component.
Right, Sween.
Right. So now let us see that how can we plan the directed practices for our students.
Right, Sween. Teachers can share the certain resources which will direct the children towards practicing a particular concept. So, like we discussed, the skills for Bloom's taxonomy, the various core learning skills. So, same skills can be polished in the way that children can be directed towards the practice concept. So, the first skill here is remembering. In remembering, certain audio visual aids can be shared with children. Certain learning materials like PDFs or PPTs or worksheets can be shared with them. It will enhance the recapitulating capacity of a child. So for example, we can share a definition of a particular thing, so children can recapitulate that. So certain concepts can be covered under the remembering skill. Then we talk about the understanding. So in understanding, we can share with the children various case studies or various flow charts of a process, why certain thing is happening. So that can be covered under the understanding skill. Then if we talk about the applying, so we can give a scenario to the child where his skills can be applied. For example, we can tell the child to write a story, or as we saw in interdisciplinary project also, we can tell them to write the journey of a plant, where they can apply the various concepts. Now if we talk about analyzing, so analyzing is basically focusing on the analyzing capacity of a child. For example, we can tell the child to distinguish between various noises and sounds. We can take him to the market, and we can nudge them to think towards it, what is noise and what are the sounds. So in the next skill, that is of evaluation, we have to see that whether the concepts that has been shared with the child, he's learning or she's learning it properly. And we can also see the capacity of agreement and disagreement of the child. So here we can share various activities with them, various project works with them, so that can be done. Now in the creation part, now all these skills combined together, we told the child, we've shared certain materials, we've told the child to apply those concepts. Now using that, we can tell the child to make a project or make a model or a report about it, so that he can apply those concepts in that way. So these are the 6 skills which teachers can share with the child, so for a directed practice approach. Now
Right,
Sween,
Ipshita.
can we just give an example to the teachers that how these skills can be used for directed practice approach?
Right, Ipshita. So before going to the example, I would also like to mention few of the comments and the suggestions that our teachers are making. So Mary Petty Ji is saying that worksheets can be used for practicing. And there are teachers who are saying that we can use puzzles, activities, and assignments also for giving in order to make the students practice. So these can be few very good suggestions in order to incorporate them in the practice session of this watch, think, and practice framework. So Ipshita, now let us move on to the example of these 6 skills to understand these skills better. So here I'm taking an example from social sciences class 7 of elections subject. So if we take an example, the first step is remembering. So when we teach elections, regarding the elections, there are few terms like manifesto and coalition. So the child can remember the meaning of these particular terms. Next, if we talk about understanding, in order to understand the election process better, the students can make a flow chart, a chart, or maybe a brain map to in order to understand the process and steps which are involved in the election process in a better way. The next step is applying. So when we are talking about applying, our students can just watch the news when the elections are going on, when the real elections are taking place, and take a note of it in order to understand that how these processes are applied and how can we visualize it in the real life scenario. The next step is analyzing. In analyzing, the students can write an article, maybe on the topics like, did the elections follow the democratic process? So it can have a critical thinking aspect also, and the students will be able to associate the process which is taking place with different democratic processes that we have studied. Then when we talk about evaluation, we can ask our students to make some suggestions and to make some list around improvements or what can be few of the suggestions if we particularly talk about elections that are taking place in India. Next, when we talk about the creation part, the creating component, we can ask the students to design and conduct a model election or maybe a mock election campaign. So this can be a very creative way of understanding the election process and applying it in the real life scenario, and maybe understanding it through some models and mock examples. So Ipshita, now let us take our teachers through the content library and see that what all resources on Gurushala can be used in the practice section.
Right, Sween. So, as I took you yesterday through the Gurushala platform, and we could see that many teachers have logged into Gurushala platform, and we saw few enrollments in the courses section also, where the teachers, they went through the courses, and they enrolled in the courses and various came to know about the various strategies that can be applied towards the pedagogies and the classroom management skills. Also, we can share with the students various resources that are available in the Gurushala digital library. So yesterday I introduced the Gurushala digital library to the teachers. So once again, we can just see that we have various filters over here on the left hand side, where teachers can filter the subject content also. Then they can filter the content class wise, and then they can share filter the content according to the content type also. Now, what kind of content needs to be shared for the thinking section that we talked about right now? So we can share various chapter quizzes with the children, where various quiz can be given, and then we can discuss the answers at the end of the session. So you might know that if you have told a concept to the child, whether he is able to grasp that concept, or you can evaluate how much more improvement is required. So you can see that we have a chapter quiz here. When I click on the thumbnail of the chapter quiz, I'll be navigated to the page of where I can use the resource. So I have the view resource button on the side. Such resources can be also shared with children because they are in PDF formats. So PDF formats are very small sized also, like in we talk in the context of lockdown also. So they are small size, they can be shared on the WhatsApp also. Certain links can be shared with the students. So such things can be shared in the offline mode also. You can download it from the Gurushala library and then share it with the students. So for example, these are the chapter quizzes that are present in Gurushala's digital library. I can go, for example, the first question here is that water cycle, what does it comprises of? What are the key components? So if I have told children about water cycle, now to know whether they've understood the process or not, I can give these kind of practice session questions to them. Another important resource that can be shared with children are various interactive worksheets that can be shared with them. So in our session later, we'll also be telling the teachers how to create various interactive worksheets using the platform Canva. Now worksheets are a very good way of you know uh, taking students through the practice session. We can give them various questions, we can nudge them to think more about the processes that we have told them. So we can again go to the content type filter, and as you can see over here in the last filter, I can just filter out the worksheets from here. So when I click on the worksheet filter, the content will be filtered, and worksheets can be various for various subjects. Like for English, we have tenses worksheet. For SST, we have like invention of wheel. So if I click on the tenses worksheet, that is for English, and we have these worksheets from class 1 to 8. So again, I'll be navigated to the view resource page. When I click on the button of view resource, the worksheet will be opened in front of me. Now, also, these kind of worksheets are also downloadable on our platform. These can be downloaded easy in the PDF format and can be shared with the children in the offline and online mode through WhatsApp groups, or through these can be printed also at their place. So these are called printables also. So these type of worksheets can be shared. It is very important that while we are sharing these worksheets, we also share the answer key with the children. So at the end of the practice session, they know that how much correct answers they have given, and we can also provide them with a good feedback to the students.
Right, Ipshita. So these can be few of the resources that we can use in practice section. Here, I would like to mention that one of our teachers, Ragiri ji, is mentioning that when we mentioned about the school election process example, so she's saying that we can also ask the students to conduct an election in school so that we can choose a leader in the school. So this can be a very good suggestion. Thanks for this, ma'am. Also, she mentioned that we can also have a role play. If we are talking about election process, or if we are talking about any other processes, we can also have a role play in order to make the students practice better.
Right, Sween. Uh, Now let's have a look, Sween. We talked about the various the framework of watch, think, and practice. We told the teachers about how to go about, directed practice, and what are the various resources that can be shared. Now, if we look at the scenario right now, we are in lockdown, and it is a very unprecedented time. A very different structure is there. A very different environment is there, where there is no student teacher interaction of any kind. The only mode of interaction is online platforms or classrooms, or some can be teachers can also be taking Zoom classes. Now the question comes that how the teachers can assess the students from a distance. So can we share few points with them regarding the various strategies they need to apply for assessing the students from a distance?
Right, Ipshita. So, when we are teaching the students virtually, assessment is definitely a very important part. So, in order to understand assessment part, so let us first go through an activity for our teachers, which is audience poll. So here, during the time of lockdown, when the students are studying from home, we want to understand the teacher's point of view, that what do you think is the objective of assessment, or what is the objective of conducting tests. So, our first option
Right.
is that knowing how much the student has learned the concept. It means that we need to know, we are trying to understand if the students are able to understand particular concepts or not. And the second option is that checking if the teaching method we are using is working. So the other option says that we are checking on if our teaching method is working well or not. So these are the two options, and we are having 1 minute time. So the teachers who choose option 1 can comment at the rate 1, and the teachers who choose option 2 can comment at the rate 2. So our timer is starting here, and we request all our teachers to share their answers.
Right, Sween. So here we are, taking kind of an opinion from the teachers that what is best for them. Whether they want to know the whether the concept they are teaching in the classroom is important, or whether it is graspable by the student, or whether their teaching style is working or not. So I can see the teachers are answering in the comment section, like. Bhaskar ji is saying, comment. Bhaskar ji is going with number two, the option number two. Then Sony ma'am is going with option number two also. So I can see that it's a 50-50 situation over here. And let's see what the teachers are, nudging towards.
Right, Ipshita. So we can see mixed responses over here. Sneha ma'am is saying two, Satish sir is saying two, Geeta ma'am is saying option one, Raju sir is also saying option two. So maybe we are having more teachers who are inclined towards the second option. So here time is also up, and we will also try to share the responses of this particular audience poll in a while by the end of the session with you all.
Right.
Yeah. So moving on. Now, Ipshita, I would like to ask that how the assessments can be conducted through phone. As we saw that yesterday, few of our teachers had this concern that there are students who are in rural areas or who are not having a very good internet connection. So, in those circumstances, how can we use phone to conduct the assessment? Would you like to share few of the steps of conducting the assessment through phone?
Right, Sween. So, as we saw that teachers were having this concern yesterday that some students are not having internet connectivity, or the luxury of having an uninterrupted internet connection. So, what can be the various ways that can be applied for conducting assessment through the phone? So when we talk about the normal scenario, teachers are there in the classroom, and they can there can be an interaction with the students. They can ask them questions, and then simultaneously questions are answered. But what can be done in the context of lockdown? So let's go through various points which can be used when we are conducting assessments through the phone. So the very first thing that can be done is to have a joint call with the students. Like we can divide the students in groups of 5 to 7, and like in normal scenarios also we used to take viva of the students. So such viva can be taken, and on the basis of which we can assess the children. The second step is that while grouping the students, we need to carefully plan that what is the behavior of the child. We all know that all children are not similar. They have their own personalities. Some children are, they're very confident, they're very fast learners, and some children are shy, introvert, and they learn at their own pace. So these kind of things need to be kept in mind while we are planning the group session or group call. Another point that needs to be kept in mind is we need to inform the students about the time and duration of the call. That how much time will be given for the answer session, what kind of questions will be shared during the session, so children can mentally prepare themselves for the session. Then also we need to tell them, tell the students that what kind of material they require to keep handy during the session. For example, we are taking a viva, so we are giving what kind of questions will be there, whether they'll be application based, whether they'll be conceptual questions, where they need to jot down few points so they can keep a notepad and a pen handy with them. So certain things can also be kept in mind. Another thing to be kept in mind is that we need to identify that what are the various abilities that the child requires while answering the question. For example, some children, as I told, that they can be fast learners also, and they can be slow learners also. So while conducting the assessment, the teacher should keep in mind that he's conducting the assessment in such a way that it is meant for all the children. And at the end, feedback is very important. At the end of the assessment, we need to tell the child in a very positive way that what can be the areas of improvement, and where he needs to work more on. So this is the way where we can conduct the assessment through phone.
Right, Ipshita.
So, Sween, this were the ways in which we can conduct assessment through phone. So, what are the various strategies, or what are the various things that the teachers need to keep in mind while they are assessing the students from a distance? Or in this case, we talked about how they can, conduct vivas on phone. So, can you share a few points with the teachers?
Right, Ipshita. So before going to the things that we need to keep in mind, I would again like to take few of the suggestions that our teachers are giving. So as we can see, Baluji is saying that we can make groups of students. So if in rural areas the phones are also not available and in every house, so maybe we can make the students make group of the students, and maybe one phone is enough to take the assessment of a particular group. So sir, this can definitely be a very good idea if we are assessing the students remotely using a phone. And apart
Right,
from
Sween.
that, right, so Mary Petty ji also mentioned that it is very important to motivate the students at every step. Definitely this is an important component. Also, when we are giving feedback to the student, we'll be discussing this in detail, that motivation plays an important role in order to make the student feel confident. So, Ipshita,
Right.
now we are moving on to the next component, right? And I'll be sharing about the things that we need to keep in mind when we are conducting the assessments using a phone. So, first thing is we need to identify the relevant topics. So, we need to understand that what all concepts are important to be assessed. So, we can take few topics that can be easily assessed using a phone. So, we need to figure out that what can be what can be the topics that can be easily assessed using a mobile phone. The next component is that variety of questions should be there. So we can have different varieties of questions, we can have diversities of question, in a sense that we can avoid avoid using a lot of questions from a textbook. So we can also incorporate questions from real life examples so that the students can associate better with that. We need to record the observations. When we are taking the assessment of the students, as a teacher, we need to make a list of the observations we have about the particular students so that it can help us better later on. less is more. So we need to figure out that what limited content and limited topics need to be assessed. Here also we can see that we maybe can avoid very subjective or very lengthy answers, and we can go about assessment in forms of fill in the blanks, true false, one word or one sentence answer, so these can be properly answered on phone. The next part is building confidence. As Mary Pedigi also mentioned in the comments, that it is very important to motivate the students so that they feel confident. So this is a very important component, and we can keep this in mind when we are giving feedback to the students. So these are few points that we need to keep in mind when we are doing assessment using a mobile phone.
Right, Sween.
Right, Ipshita. So here we have seen that how in rural areas, or where the phones or internet are not available with every student, how can we assess the students in those circumstances? Now, if we want to understand that how can we use technology to design different kind of assessment, so let us take our teachers through such technologies, Ipshita.
Right, Sween. So for using technology for designing assessment, so how can we do that? So for that, we can use two platforms that are quizzes. Quizzes is an online platform, which provides these already customized quizzes for various subjects and for various classes. So teachers can just click on one of the subject quiz, and they can share the quiz with the students, and after they do the quiz, their scores are collated at the end of it, and teachers can just note down the scores and make a assessment chart out of it. You can also customize your own quiz, with a creating quiz option on this platform. The second option can be very handy, that is sharing a Google form with the children. It is a very simple and easy way of assessment to, where responses can be captured. For example, I can make an MCQ format, and then I can give various questions, and then I can give various options where the children can, do it on their own pace. One very important aspect of it, that sometimes teachers bring in the concept that what if the children are taking help from any outer source, or whatever, what if certain parents are helping the students. So in this case, we can add certain add-ons, like we have the feature of timify. So we can time these quizzes, like the children needs to complete it in 10 minutes, or for say 20 minutes. So in this way, these kind of things can be avoided. Also, we can share some questions which is application based, which are not like book based questions where you have to just copy and paste the answers. So we can give them certain conceptual questions or application based questions, so that these kind of situations can be avoided. So this is how we can use a Google form. It is very important for a teacher that at the end of the every assessment, a feedback is given to each student. So let's go through the Gurushala platform again and see if we have a video or a resource which can explain the Google Forms better to the teacher.
Right, Ipshita. So we are now taking our teachers through the Gurushala platform in order to show that how can we create the Google Forms.
Right, Sween. So, as we talked about the course section yesterday, we have a course for tools for content creation and customization and curation. This course can be taken by the teachers. By as I have already logged in, so here I am. My progress chart is shown. But in case you haven't logged in, so you have to enroll the course. There is an enroll button over here, which can be clicked and enroll for the course. As I told yesterday also, that teachers can log into Gurushala platform using the URL www.gurushala.co in the search tab, and they'll be redirected to the Gurushala portal. Also, they can then sign in the account free of cost by using their Facebook ID, Gmail ID, or they can also register using their mobile number. So, as we talk
Right,
about
Ipshita.
our course, courses having different modules. So first module is for content creation, then tools for assessment creation, then how we can use video customization and creation of content, and application of various information and communication tools that can be used for conducting the assessment program. So let's go through what are the various tools that are required for assessment creation.
Right, Ipshita. So we can go to the second module of this particular course, and we are just showing you the explore video in order to understand that how Google Forms can be created.
Miss Kaveri decides to go and check what has happened in the computer lab. Hi, Barkha. Oh, hi, Kaveri. Done with the assessment? Yeah, have to check these now. Okay, I heard Arjun and Zeva talking about their marks. Have you checked the papers already? Papers? I didn't check any papers. Then who did? Computer. Computer? This time, I have changed my approach a bit and I created an online assessment for the students. Oh, online assessment. That's why students got to know their marks quickly. Yes, online assessment is so helpful, which I used to spend on checking papers and can utilize it for my class. Oh, that's right. But how did you create it? Come, I'll show you. For today's assessment, I have used Google Forms. You must have heard about it, right? Yeah, but how can you create an assessment out of a form? See, first, log into your Gmail account. Go to the Google Apps and select Forms from here. Then select a blank form. After this, you need to go to the settings. Select quizzes and then make this a quiz. You can also look for ready templates of assessment. Okay, what next? And then choose whether to show the results immediately or later, in case you want to review the answers. So for direct questions, I can show the result immediately, and for long answers, I can review them later. Exactly. And from this drop down, you can select the types of question you want to include in the quiz. I thought it would be multiple choice questions only. But here, short answers, drop down, check boxes, and long answers questions can also be added. Nice! Yeah, and if you want to provide pictures to students for reference, you can also add images or videos with questions. And how does it calculate score? I will show you. So here I am adding this question and its options. Now here you can see the answer key option is given. You can fill in the correct answer. You can select the correct answer from options and also add marks to it. Okay, not only this, but you can also add feedback or explanation for both correct and incorrect options selected. So, if a student selects an incorrect option, he or she can see the correct explanation. Right. And from here, you can add as many questions as you want. You can also change the theme or background color with the theme options available here. And what if I want to see the responses of all my students? For that, you can go to the Responses tab. Here you can see individual responses. You can create a spreadsheet and there you can see all the responses and scores of the students on a single sheet. That's great. Once you have added all the questions, you just need to share the link or open that link on all the systems so that the students can attempt the quiz. It is quite simple to use. Let me tell you about some more assessment creation and customization platforms which are simple to use. Customization? Yes, some of the platforms have already made quizzes on different topics which can be edited and used by the people as per their requirement. These are quizzes and Survey Monkey. There are so many things available online. It's really helpful for both teachers and students. Thank you, Varka, for all the information. You are most welcome, dear. I'll surely create some quizzes for my students and give them a new experience of assessments.
Right, Sween. So as here we saw that how the two teachers are talking about, assessing the children using the Google form and also the Survey Monkey, which is also an online platform. So this can be done for creating assessment or using technology for creating of the assessment forms.
Right, Ipshita. So before we move ahead, I would like to tell my teachers that we have the results of audience poll over here. So 39% of the teachers selected the option one, and 61% of the teachers selected with the option 2. So 39% teachers are saying that for assessment the objective is to make the students understand that how much the students are able to understand particular concepts, and 61% teachers feel that it is important to understand that a working strategy is working or not, or how effectively it is working.
Right, Sween. So, Sween, going further into the session, we talked about the various assessment tools. We talked about how we can assess the children from a distance. So, let's take few questions in the comment section that our teachers are, sharing with us.
Right, Ipshita.
So certain teachers are talking about the digital divide that our country is having. A lot of disparity in terms of internet connection, and gadgets are not there. So sir, in that kind of cases where internet connection is not available, we can like we talked about, that we can conduct the assessment through phones, dividing the students into different groups, and then going the old school way, where we could conduct few viva sessions, or we can give the students application based question and nudge them to think about more. So these kind of questions can also be shared with students.
Right, Ipshita. And few of our teachers are asking if Telugu can be a medium. So yes, different languages can be used in Google Forms, and we will also be sharing the link of this particular course with you all in the chat section.
Right. So a very important idea that Kishorji is sharing with us. They are telling that instead of making small groups, they are taking all the necessary measures and conducting the schools in small groups. So that is a really great idea, sir. And they might be also promoting the sense of social distancing in children. That is very important in the context of lockdown that is going on in today's time.
Right, Ipshita. So now let us move ahead, as we have discussed about assessment, and we have seen that what are the important steps that we need to take care of while we are conducting assessment. So feedback is also an important part of it. So while we are giving feedback to our students, or while we are thinking as teachers of sharing feedback with our students, so we might have few questions like, is there a particular sequence that we need to follow while we are sharing the feedback? How do I provide my feedback to the students? So is there going to be a particular way of doing that? Is there a process of giving feedback to the students? And what if my students feel demotivated if I share the feedback? And how can I be better, and how can I like share my feedback in a good way? So these can be few of the questions that our teachers might be coming across while we are sharing feedback with our students. So, Ipshita,
Right,
here
Sri.
we can share with our teachers that how can we strengthen the feedback process.
Right, Sween. So we talked about taking the assessment of children and then evaluating them on the basis of concepts that has been taught with them or the resources that has been shared with them. It is very important for a teacher to analyze the performance of the children and give them a feedback about it. So let's see what are the various strategies or what are the various strengthening points that need to be kept in mind while we are giving feedback to the children. So let's start with the first point. The first point says that we should always start with a positive note or a positive point. Now, it is very important that as a teacher, we should always appreciate the good parts or the good skills that a child is having. For example, he performed really well in one question of subject, so that can be appreciated. If he has been trying on, some children are very talkative also in the class, and if they are trying to improve on their behavior, so we can start with that kind of point. So this will also engage the child in learning more, and it will be a very good point, and they'll be more invested in learning more new concepts. Then second point that need to be kept in mind is that we need to be very specific and very clear about the feedback. We can highlight the example of the behavior and the child performance, that you have performed like this since a few weeks, or your behavior has been very good since weeks, and there can still be improvement. Such kind of examples can be shared with the children. Also, provide an instant feedback to the children. As soon as the assessment or the evaluation process is over, teachers can get back and get in touch with the students. So in this way, they'll be more involved in a student's life. As for a student, teacher is the role model to them. We can also focus on one ability at once. For example, we're talking about assessing the behavior of a child, or assessing what is the progress in studies, or assessment related feedback. So we can either focus on improving the behavior, or we can either focus on improving the performance in the class of a student. So in this way, we'll be also having a feedback which is goal targeted. What is the goal we are aiming as a teacher? Then we should also share few points with the children in what way they need to improve, in what way they need to work on themselves for in terms of behavior. If a child is very talkative, or he's very active in class, so we can tell him various ways in which he can just tone down his behavior a bit and be an example for the class also. Also, feedback is a two-way process. As we know that communication is always a two-way process. So while we are giving the feedback to the children, we should make sure that we also listen to the children. For example, if a child is talkative, or if a child is a bit naughty in the class, we should always try to know that what is the reason behind it. So they can be a great connect with the students and the teacher as well.
Right, Ipshita.
Yasmin. So we talked about the strategies of assessment and how to take offline assessment, how to take online assessment. Now, also talked about that what after the assessment and evaluation process, how to provide feedback to the children. Now, Sween, this is not the normal times we are living in. It is a very unprecedented situation that we are going through, and the teacher community is doing its best to best efforts to teach the children on through online classes. Now, after the lockdown is over, the things are going to change. We are going to get back into schools from online mode. We are again going to switch to offline modes. Now, what is the various strategies that the teachers need to apply when the schools they reopen, and the classwork resumes after the lockdown?
Right, Ipshita. So as we know that we are in this lockdown situation, and we can actually visualize that what all are going to be few of the challenges that can come up in front of us when the schools reopen after the lockdown. So there can be few potential challenges that our teachers can face post lockdown. So few of the challenges can be social distancing in class after lockdown. So as we have been listening a lot about social distancing these days, so it is definitely going to be a challenge that how do we maintain maintain social distancing with the students. So as we know that the students are naughty, they'll be coming back to school after a lot like a long time, and they'll be willing to talk to their friends, they'll be willing to shake hands. So it is going to be a challenge that how are we going to maintain social distancing. Then revising concepts after lockdown, it is an important component, because there will be concepts that we would have taught during the lockdown, and there must be concepts that we have taught like before the lockdown situation. So how are we going to make the students revise all those concepts? Another challenge could be creating interdisciplinary projects. So when we are going back to the classes, it is going to be a challenge that how do we create such projects with different subject teachers. Project on community based learning is going to be a challenge after post lockdown situation. And another component is hyperactive students. So there are students who are very naughty, hyperactive, and since we know that the students are at home since many months, so when they'll be coming back, they'll be very excited to go to the sports grounds and swings and play around with their friends. So how are we going to manage these hyperactive students is going to be a challenge for us. So Ipshita, now let us suggest our teachers few of the courses that are available on Gurushala that can help the teachers in overcoming such challenges.
Right, Sween. So, as we talked about, what are going to be the challenges that the teachers are going to face in the classroom environment after the lockdown gets over? The first challenge, as we talked about, is social distancing in classroom. Now, as we know that children are at their home. They are. After the lockdown gets over, they get to meet their friends after a very long time. So they'll be in a very joyful and playful mood. So it is the utmost responsibility of the teacher to maintain the social distancing between them. So for this we can go to the Gurushala platform, and we can go through the course of classroom management, and we can follow a specific model called as managing classroom decorum. Then we can also revise the other challenges that we were conducting online classes for children, and this strategy will finally change into the new strategy of giving online assessments, offline assessments to the children. So what will be the various strategies, and what will be the various challenges and changes that will come in revising the concepts after lockdown? So for this, teachers can go through the course of revision strategies on Gurushala. Again, one of the another challenges that when lockdown gets over, the classroom work resumes. So creating interdisciplinary project. Right now, children are at their home. They are interacting with their parents, with the grandparents. So after the lockdown gets over, they'll be resuming the classroom work also. So how they will balance, in creating that creativity side of theirs. So this will be a challenge for teachers. For that, we have a course of interdisciplinary learning, and we can follow few modules like linking the practice and collaborative method of teaching. Also, like we talked in the time of lockdown, how to collaborate ourselves as a community, and come together for creating various projects and various training programs or workshops. So this will be the major challenge after the lockdown gets over. So for this, we have a course of innovative teaching strategies. Then next will be a very important aspect that I talked about, that children are having different personalities. Some of the children, they are very shy, they're very introverted. Some of the children, they are very naughty by nature. They like to play around in classroom. They try to interact with their friends. So how to manage such hyperactive students once the lockdown gets over? So for this course, we can go again to the Gurushala course library and follow the course of student engagement and socio-emotional learning. So we encourage all the teachers that after the session gets over, they can go through the course library and enroll in various courses. Now, Sween, can we just give the teachers a glimpses of the course library and tell them a bit about what kind of courses they can take?
Right, Ipshita. So, in order to overcome the challenges that we might face after the lockdown, There can be few of the courses that can be taken up. So as we can see, this is the courses section of Gurushala portal. So we are having a number of courses over here that we just spoke about. So it can be socio-emotional environment related, it can be related to assessment and evaluation, interdisciplinary learning courses also there, and classroom management courses there. So as we were discussing about classroom management course, that how it can help us in overcoming the challenge of maintaining social distancing and managing the students in the classroom. So let us just have a look at this course. So here is the course on classroom management. So as we know, as we have gone through various courses as well, we had seen courses yesterday as well. So when you go to the courses, there is an overview of the course which shows that what all is there in the course. So it talks about description of the particular course. Then we have a section which is skills covered. So it talks about the skills that are covered in the particular course, or the skills that a teacher can learn, or the skills that can be enhanced while we are doing this course. It also shows that how the particular course is aligned to our syllabus and curriculum, and there are few frequently asked questions which are related to the course. So this is a general framework that we have for particular courses, and then we have 3 to 4 modules in every course. So if we go to the first module of this particular course, then we will be able to see the structure of relate, explore, assess, and further reading. This is a fixed structure that all of our courses are having. So in relate section, we talk about the problem, we try and understand the relationship, and we try to communicate the particular relationship to the teacher also, that what is the need of doing the course and what can be the problem that can be assessed if we do this particular course. In explore section, we talk about the strategies which can be used to solve the particular problem. The explore section also has an infographic which tries to explain the complex information in a very virtually appealing way. We also have an assess section in which we have certain assessment question in order to understand that how well we have completed the course. And in further reading, we have some additional documents which can give you even more detailed information about the particular topic. And we also have a glossary over here so that we can understand a few of the complex words if there are any in the particular course. So now let us have a look at the explore section of this particular course, and we are playing this particular video of explore section for you so that you can understand the class decorum section in a more better way, and how can we overcome the particular challenge.
Why is Mr. Karan standing here? What's happening in the class? This class is so well organized and students have maintained the discipline. How did Mr. Karan make it possible?
Good morning, class.
Good morning, sir.
Let's do an activity together. Activity? Yes, we will decorate our class together. But before that, I guess we need to set some class expectations.
How are we going to do that?
We will together make only 6 class rules and write them on a chart paper.
Mr. Karan knows that too many rules will not work with these students. By telling them to decide the rules, he is trying to give them the ownership. He also realizes that the number and types of rules can't be same for all classes. It has to be changed with the class and need of the students. He has applied these 5 steps to make successful class rules. 1. Give the responsibility of making and maintaining rules to the students so that they have some ownership. 2. There should be maximum 5 to 8 rules. 3. Rules should be positive. 4. Rules should be defined and simple. 5. Clearly mention the consequences for not following the rules.
Very good, class. You all have decided these rules, and now it's your responsibility to follow them. Will you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now tell me, where should we paste it?
Besides the blackboard, sir.
Why so?
Because everyone will be able to see it all the time.
Great. Does everyone agree with Jyoti?
Yes, sir.
Do you think we should utilize other walls as well?
Yes.
Okay, let's work together for this.
Mr. Karan applied W.N. Creekmore's model for classroom walls, in which he said that each of the classroom's walls serves a different purpose. He named them as the acquisition wall, maintenance wall, and dynamic wall. Fourth wall was considered as a source of natural light with windows. Acquisition wall can be used to teach or give a hint about the new or difficult topics. Maintenance wall can be used to reinforce the topics already taught in the class. Dynamic wall can be used by the students to share their work with others.
Right. So this was a video on how can we manage the classrooms. So this was basically about the classroom decorum. So here one of our teachers is asking that how can we enroll in the particular course. So as Ipshita had already explained yesterday, I would like to emphasize on that. So first of all, when you go to gurushala.co, we have to log in using our Google ID, Facebook, or maybe our mobile number, and then we have to then we'll be there on the Gurushala page. And then if we go to the particular courses section, we'll be able to see a list of courses. When we click on the particular course, we get an option on the right side which says enroll in the particular course for free, and we'll be able to enroll and do the various modules of the course. And when we are done with the particular modules, we'll be getting a particular certificate for the courses in my repository section.
Right, Sween. So, Sween, we have few comments from our teachers regarding the social distancing, maintaining social distancing once the lockdown gets over. For example, Vishwananda sir is asking that there are not sufficient classrooms where and a huge strength of students is there, and how to maintain social distancing after the post-lockdown situation. So, sir, in this case, we can follow the strategy of alternate day classrooms, where we can take the classes for, like, we have a strength of 50 students. So we can take an alternate day classroom. For example, 25 students can be called on Monday. Then Tuesday can be assigned to other 25 students. And then we can maintain that kind of a decorum. So in this way, we can also maintain social distancing, and the education and learning process will not be hindered also.
Right, Ipshita.
So similarly, Sween, some teachers have asked the question related to the participation of students, how to engage them more while teachers are instructing them to do certain activities. So, ma'am, we can give them certain activities which are very interesting and related to their day-to-day life. Like we told about the interdisciplinary project yesterday, where they can involve themselves with parents, with their grandparents. So they also develop a bond with them and spend some time with them, which is also very important for their development also. So certain activities can be given. Also, we talked about the parents monitoring and supervision point over there. So we can talk with the parents and we can motivate them to nudge the children to do certain activities and participate more in the online classrooms.
Right, Ipshita. So now let us move ahead. So far about the post-lockdown situation, we have discussed that what can be the potential challenges that we might come across and how can we overcome those challenges. Also, we had mentioned in the beginning that content creation is also a very important aspect during this lockdown situation, as our teachers are continuously sharing different kind of contents in form of videos, books, and various other digital resources with our teacher, with our students, in order to make them understand and so that they do not lag behind in their studies. So we are also planning to organize an hands-on workshop on aesthetics and techniques of interactive content creation, and if the teachers want to enroll in this particular workshop, they can mention that in their feedback form. So in order to take our content creation session ahead and to describe few of the techniques which can be there, I would like to call upon one of our team members, Yatin, to discuss in details about the content creation.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Smeen and Ipsita for inviting me to this session. So, as we have, gone across the session, we have realized the importance of digital content, and we've realized, how important it is for teachers to understand the process of creating digital content in order to make their classrooms more interactive. So, before we get into any details, we'll just talk about sharing some kinds of digital content that the teachers can engage in creating in order to carry out the learning process in the classroom in a more effective way. So, the first thing that we can see is the idea of a live action videos. So, the concept of live action videos is different from normal videos because they have a capacity of interaction between them. We have already gone under the process of uploading various live action videos on Gurushala, and you can look live action videos is also almost like an interactive game in which using the video format various concepts are presented, and at certain points during the video there will be times when the students will be asked to make certain options and certain interaction with the video. So what that does is it completely transforms the passive way of looking at a video, and it gives the students an important aspect of interacting with it. The second thing, another form of interactive content is character animation. So the best part about character animation is that it enables the teacher to present concepts to students in the form of a story and in the form of a dialogue. As we have seen, we also used character animation even in our training session today, in which we had teachers interacting with students and asking them about various classroom issues and the teachers replying. So, we already have a glimpse of how character animation can help us in conveying information, and how it becomes a way of actually conveying it in a very subconscious manner, essentially, because it enables the students to identify with the narrative that is being presented to them. Next comes whiteboard animation. I think ever since the lockdown has started, I think all across the online space, whiteboard animations have been something that have flooded across all channels. And it is something that is, it's a handy tool that is used by a lot of teachers and people who provide information. So I believe that the best part about the whiteboard animation is essentially the canvas on which the whiteboard animation works. It is essentially starts with the blank canvas, which is completely blank, and the teacher, by using the voice and the ability of a sketch pen to draw on that sheet, slowly builds concepts from the scratch. So we can probably look at that whiteboard as actually the mind of a student. So when the student has entered the class, his mind is blank. He doesn't know anything about the concept, and slowly the teacher goes onto the blank canvas and starts drawing. So it becomes a process in which a student can be given a concept from point A to point Z, and it can be slowly built upon in a manner that the students understands not only how to understand a particular theory, but also how one is able to arrive at it starting from a point. And I think if we share one of the other most important interactive contents has emerged in the form of infographics. If we can have that on the presentation. Yeah. So I think infographics is probably one of the most go-to areas that are utilized by teachers, because it enables teachers to not only present complicated information step by step by using visual illustrations. Infographics, because of their inherent visual appeal, are something that also provides a greater student engagement. Sharing a PDF about a concept that just written in a normal paragraph style versus presenting the same information, breaking it down in an infographic, and using visual elements is something that not only is able to convey complex ideas in a better way, but is also something that is able to inspire a sort of a connect from the side of the students. So, as we already talked about that, with Gurushala, we'll be conducting various workshops in which we would like teachers to familiarize with certain softwares and certain tools that they can use to create digital content. So, just to give you a small snippet of the kind of workshops we'll be having, I would like to take this time to quickly take you to the platform of Canva, which can be used by teachers to create digital content. So as you can see, we have logged onto the Canva website, www.canva.com. So Canva is essentially a free of cost tool that is basically an illustration platform that enables everyone to create engaging and subjective and specially curated visual content. And what has happened in the recent time is Canva usually existed just as an illustration platform, but given the current scenario of teachers wanting to create digital content, Canva has also evolved itself to include various design platforms that are specifically guided towards teachers and education. So if you look at, this is like the home interface of the website, and if you want to start creating our content on the website, we go to the button create a design. As you can see, it lies in the top right corner of the window. So, just to give you an example, let's look at how Canva can help us create better worksheets. So, when we click on the button Create a Design, as we can see, we've got a search bar with us. So, let us type the kind of content that we're willing to create. So, as soon as we type the worksheet, we have an option that is prompted to us. So, let's just go ahead and click on that. So as you can see, as soon as we click on the kind of content we want, we are basically guided to the main working area of the Canva platform. As you can see, it's a very user-friendly platform. You can see in the majority of the section, we've got a white canvas, which is basically the blackboard, or the blank page on which you will be designing and creating your illustrations. And on the left, in the black area, so as to say, there are various tabs and tools that essentially enable you to create content. So, since Canva has added the worksheet platform over there onto the website, one good thing is that, as we can see on the left side, we already have existing templates of having worksheets which are already divided by subjects. So we have math worksheets, we've got English worksheets, and we've got social studies worksheet. So let us just take an example how we can use these templates to create, interactive worksheets. So let's just click on this option, and as you can see, as soon as we click on a particular template, it automatically arrives at the main canvas area. So as you can see, it already contains things like name, teacher, class, and date. So teachers can imagine that if they would have to be making this worksheet online by themselves, these are the little things that they would probably do themselves. But the template provides an opportunity where it already contains all these basic information, and it also enables the teachers to really create worksheets in a short span of time. That's one of the major aspects of the good part about using Canvas, because you are able to create good content in a short span of time. Apart from that, as we can see, this entire worksheet is completely editable. Yeah. So, for example, one problem, Sween, that the teachers also shared with us was the point that what about the cheating aspect of it? If you are giving the same kind of worksheets to all students, some student might probably find answers before and might share it with other students, and that kind can probably ruin the prospect of actually engaging with the worksheet. So earlier, teachers would adopt the strategy of essentially having creating multiple sets of a single worksheet, which would involve them creating each different like block 1, block 2, block 3, or paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 with different questions, so that the cheating process gets curbed. But with Canva, that can be done in an extremely easy way. Now, for example, if a teacher of the mathematics subject is sharing this worksheet, and instead of just sending one worksheet, she wants to provide two sets of the worksheet, and she wants to provide a different worksheet to different set of students. So, for example, as we know, when we use our mouse to navigate on the worksheet, the various elements of the worksheet get highlighted, right? So, for example, let us just click on this prism, and let's try to remove this prism and probably introduce another shape over here, so that automatically we get a second kind of worksheet with us, which can be shared with students. So you can see we click on the element and we click on delete. So now the element is gone. Then when we move back to the left hand side of a screen where we have various options that are given, like templates, uploads, photos, elements, is the elements section that we click upon.
So, Yatin, sorry to interrupt, but we are not able
Yes,
to
ma'am.
see the screen. If you can share the screen once again.
Is the screen available?
Yeah, it's available now.
All right. So I'll just go back and probably, just talk about it again. So we're talking about worksheets, and we're talking about how Canva enables you to create multiple forms of worksheets at one go. So we can see that we already removed the photo of the pyramid that was already existing, and now we will try to introduce another element into the worksheet template. So as we go into the section of elements, we see that we have already got this, image of a star. So as soon as we click upon it, it arrives on a worksheet. We can resize it and move it around according to the format of the worksheet and place it over here. What is the most beneficial aspect of having this feature is, again, as I said, is about creating different sets of worksheets. It basically enables the teachers to create one worksheet in different forms, even to the point that each individual student can be provided with a different set. And that's the best part about Canva, that it enables us to do that. So I think seeing worksheets is probably one of the best ways that we can use Canva. And I also feel that there are other mediums that Canva can help us with. So what do you think, what's the another kind of digital tool or a digital content that you would like me to share with our teachers using the Canva platform?
Right, Yatin. So, as we talked about creating various worksheets on the Canva platform, so Yatin, our teachers may be having the concern that whether these worksheets can be created only in English or any other regional languages like Telugu or Marathi, Gujarati, or Hindi as well.
So the best part about the Canva platform is that it has a open language feature. So it basically means that if you use tools like Google Translate or Google Language Analysis or some other website where you have content in a different language, it's very easy for you to simply go to that site, copy paste the content, and paste it on the worksheet whenever you want. So by that I mean that Canva offers support to basically display any form of language that you wish to provide. It's not just that we have to just focus on English. It has the capacity to recognize other languages, and they can be very easily integrated into our worksheets.
Right, Yatin. Also, can these worksheets be shared in online mode or offline mode? Can the teachers download these worksheets as well?
If you look at the screen once again, on the top right corner, we see the download option, right? So when we click on the arrow of the download option, we get various ways that we can probably interact with the worksheet that we've created. It says download, share link, Facebook page, Twitter, email. So I think download is an option where you click on it and you download the material, and you're able to send it across to students by yourself in a hard copy, or in a remote form. Like, you don't need internet to access it, and it gets stored with you. The other thing is that if we are connected with our students, if certain teachers are connected with the students across email or even across a Facebook page, if it's possible, then we can select the option of an email and Facebook, and we can directly share our worksheets with the students on those platforms.
Right, Yatan. So we talked about creating these interactive, worksheets, and we have a question, a very interesting question from Harsha ji. They are asking us that how to create worksheets more interesting amongst the students. So, Yatan, can we address the
Yeah.
same?
So I think so when we go back to the templates, and let's just see, for example, we're talking about maths worksheet, right? So let's just click see all, you know. So as you can see, if you talk about the engagement value of a worksheet, we have different platforms, and we've got different exercises that are already presented with it. Like for example, I'll just see this example of the counting game, you know. So this is something that already Canva provides us with, and it provides with an exercise which is already in the form of fill in the blanks, where the students fill in the numbers that they need to fill in. So I think the combination of a variety of templates, first thing, combined with the capacity of editing and adding your own elements to it and adding more visually interesting elements to it, is something that really comes together, you know, and helps teachers to create worksheets that are more interactive, more simple, and more engaging, which might have not been possible to create on any other platform. And probably creating on another digital platform would require a huge learning curve, you know, of acquiring that skill itself. So I think Canva in that aspect provides a very interesting option for, you know, teachers to create interactive worksheets.
Right, Yatin. Yatin shared with us all that how to create these interactive worksheets. Many a times it happens that we share, information with the children, and we always, as a teacher, it's put in our best efforts to make the content more engaging and interacting for the students. Yatin, is there any way in which the teachers can, put in various images, charts, or text to make the complex data more easier to share and more easier and to learn for the children?
Definitely, Ipshita. So, as we had also discussed when we are talking about different types of interactive content, we had discussed the idea of an infographic. And I think it's the idea of the infographic that kind of, you know, puts all the things that you were mentioning about together, because it enables you to share complex information. It enables you to, go beyond just having text on your screen. It enables you to have colors. It enables to have images. It enables you to add various other elements, you know, that are not only visually appealing, but also have the capacity to present information in a more broken down and a gradual manner. So, what I would like to show right now to our teachers is how to use Canva to create various interesting infographics. So, as you can see, we are back at the landing page of the Canva website, and we'll again follow the procedure that we do when we want to create a design. On the top right corner, we click on the button Create a Design. So now, since we are talking about creating infographics, just go ahead and type the word infographics over there. So as soon as we type the word, we already get a special option which we can see on the second list. It says the education infographics. So let's just go ahead and click on that and see what Canva provides us with. So again, as you can see, we are back at the familiar screen that we have been, looking at for a while now. So again, the user interface of Canva is same. You got the main thing in the middle with the white canvas, which is like a blackboard to create digital content, and on the left side you got various elements. So as you said, let's just take an example, Ipshita. Like for example, if we got a teacher from the sciences and especially from biology who wants to probably convey to the students the idea of the life cycle of a butterfly, so one way of doing it is just providing the text and just saying just saying point one this happens, point two this happens. But what is a better way to convey that same information and that same life cycle to our students is to use an infographic. So as we can see on the left hand side of our screen, it already has Canva provides us with a existing infographic. So let's go ahead and click on that. So as you can see, I'll just zoom in into the So as you can see, this is an infographic that Canva provides us. It already contains images, it already contains text, it already contains a broader layout, of how to create an interesting infographic. And I think it is the layout and the template that really is the plus point of using Canva. Because otherwise, placing all of these things in the right direction and starting from scratch would probably require someone who has, extremely good knowledge of visual aesthetics and has, some sort of a design degree. But Canva doesn't require that. It's a very simple, easy to use platform. Like for example, right now it says life cycle of a butterfly, and it talks about stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. So because this template is already existing, we can probably tweak the same infographic to give other information as well. We can click on the life cycle of a butterfly, and we can probably replace it with water cycle, and then we can find the text that we want to talk about on stage 1, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, 4, and simply copy paste in the content area, these images, as you can see, they are movable, and they can be again, like completely curated by the teachers. So these images can be removed, and the teachers can introduce images of a water cycle, like the sea, like the evaporation process. So I think using the templates that Canva provides with the teachers, infographics is probably something that will come in most handy, when teachers are willing to share information with the students. And again, I would like to just talk about, once again, just to tell our teachers that again there are various ways in which the content can be shared with the teachers. On the top right corner, we go to the download button. We again have all the options of download, sharing the link, Twitter and email. And so whatever medium that we're comfortable with it, and whatever medium that we've established a connection with our students with, we can just use it to send our infographics to our students.
Right, Yatin. So infographics can be a very effective way of presenting complex information to our students in a very engaging, colorful, and pictorial manner.
Right.
So Yatin, here are few of the things and comments that our teachers are mentioning. So
All right.
Khanderao ji is saying that worksheets are a very useful way, and this can be a very creative way of expressing the knowledge and sharing with the students, and
Definitely.
the subject knowledge can be enhanced this way.
Hmm.
Also,
I think,
Prashanti ji is, yeah, yes, Yatin.
go ahead, Sween.
Yeah. So Prashanti ji is asking a question that can we also use graphs while we are making worksheets?
Definitely. I think that if you just go back, let's go back to our worksheet platform that we made, you know, and let's just go look at various templates that we already have existing. So see, as we're talking about, can we see the screen? See, so Canvas already provides us, I like, this is just an example, but as you can see, Canvas actually provides us with the existing template where it already provides students, to interact with information in a graphical manner in the form of graphs. So I think there are two ways in which we can probably introduce graphs into our worksheets. One is to actually involve our students into the creation of a graph,
Right.
as we can see, like it says, grab some colored candies and some coloring materials, and basically we start sorting out that what are the number of candies that we have, and as you can see that it's got an x-axis and a y-axis, so this is something that we can use to teach students about how to create graphs. But apart from that, I would like to also tell to sir that when we went into the aspect of elements, okay, there is also an option above it which talks about uploads, so when we talk about uploads, this is a place where you have the capacity to upload an image or a video. So if there is any graph that the teacher has in his or her repertoire that already exists in one of our folders, so Canva also provides the opportunity for the teacher to select that graph, to import it into the into the session and make it a part of the worksheet. Like just an example, as we can see, these are the various things that have been already used. So these are the images that were not actually available onto the Canva, and they were the ones that were added by the user. So once the image gets added, you simply click on it and it arrives onto the worksheet. So that is one other way that graphs can be used as a part of our worksheets.
Right, Yatin. So when we're talking about templates, Kishore ji is having a question that can we create our own templates in Canva?
Definitely, sir. So, for example, when we go back, and I think there is an option where we can actually have a blank, template when we talk about it. Just a sec. So basically, this is a way that we can actually start with, creating your own template in which you basically arrive at any blank scene. And even in fact, for example, if a teacher wants to create a worksheet, right, like probably create her own worksheet, she can probably go to the worksheet space, right, and we arrive at it. So the point is, when you're talking about creating your own template, see, at the end of the day, our main area is blank. The main area of Canva is blank. So just like any other software, it enables us to add text and various elements, that where do we want to, for example, like we can add a heading over here, like giving the title of the worksheet as to like for example, this is a English quiz. So it's not necessarily that we have to go across the template. We can do our own thing. We can probably add text of various different fonts. We can go to the elements if we want to add images by ourselves. Like for example, let's just go and figure out an image that we can use. Let's just give an example that we have a biology teacher who wants to discuss about various types of flowers. that what are the name of different kinds of flowers. So we have that sort of an element available. We click on it, and we arrive at all these things. Just a second. I'm sorry, there's a problem with it. I'll just like go back and yeah. So
Right,
yeah, I think
Yatin.
that answered
So
the
yeah,
question.
right. So there can be ways in which we can create our own templates. We can add
Definitely,
pictures, and we can add different headings according to like our concept, and we can customize
definitely.
it accordingly.
Yeah.
So Yatin, moving ahead, like as we discussed yesterday about interdisciplinary learning, so we were also discussing about planning those projects. So
Yes.
can we use Canva for creating our lesson plans while we are like mapping the concept? So how can we use Canva for creating different maps and lesson plans?
Yeah, definitely. Canva also provides an opportunity, and an existing framework for us to create various lesson plans. So as you can see, we're back on the home screen. We again follow the same procedure of arriving it, and we type the word lesson plan. As you can see, we get the students across a larger time frame. Like a project doesn't happen in one day, it happens across a week. So like on Monday, a student might be engaging with one form of activity, like we shared yesterday, of making the medicinal garden. Like Monday might involve the student to sow the seeds, but towards the end of the day, Friday might involve the student to probably write a small entry in his or her scrapbook. So the Canva, in these scenarios, the lesson plan not only becomes essential for teachers to create for themselves and their own clarity, but to provide to the students as well. So let's just take an example on the top left when we look at a template that provides us.
Right, Yatin.
So we can see now that this is an option that we're already available at Canva, and it's basically a template which already has days mentioned on it, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we have also got, it also seems like it's from a more science element, as we can already see mentioned. So what happens is that we can use this template to probably create our own lesson plans. Like for example, as I said, that if Monday was the process in which we have to tell our students that is the day where they need to sow their seeds. So we can simply go on to the content, we can delete it, and we can type our own instruction that we want. So we talk about sowing seeds in the garden, right? So this is one way. So this becomes a way to not only for the teacher to understand that what is the activity that she wants to give to the students, but if this sort of a thing is shared beforehand with students, they also know what they need to do. Like for example, if the last day of the week involves the students creating a scrapbook, or writing some sort of a reflection they've had. So what we can do is that on Friday, if we delete the template information, create a reflection notebook and scrapbook, and paste leaves into the scrapbook, of different kind. So now what it does is that when we share this lesson plan, it has two utilities. The first utility is that, of course, as soon as the teacher is presented with a template like that, she already starts imagining in her head, okay, that how she wants to basically break down the entire interdisciplinary activity over a week. That's the first utility. The second utility is like, if this sort of a lesson plan is provided to our students in the beginning of the week, so the student already knows that on Friday the student will be required to create a reflection notebook and scrapbook and paste leaves of different kind. So what can happen is it can enable the student to already be ready with the materials that he needs in order to undertake that exercise, because the student has a prior information. So whether it is about buying a scrapbook, whether it's about getting a notebook, whether it's about getting leaves and even a small stationary items like glue ready. So that is something that is very important for students also. But I think that one of the best utilities of Canva in terms of undertaking interdisciplinary projects is the fact that this is an online platform. So what we can actually have is, we can have suppose 5 teachers who together are engaging in an interdisciplinary project. They can probably create a common ID, they can log on to Canva, and you can imagine, like, if I have 4 of my colleague teachers and 4 of us have access to the same plan, and if we are collectively coming together to basically plan an interdisciplinary activity. So the online aspect of Canva also provides us to share resources, and it also provides an opportunity to teachers to come together and collaborate and create collective lesson plans as well, which might have not been possible across traditional mediums. So Canva provides that opportunity. It provides real time access to common digital tools and common digital creative tools that teachers can actually use together to create content and to create digital content that is applicable to all of them in a collective manner. So I think this probably again emerges one of the strong points of not only Canva, but I think the entire idea of using digital tools and digital media in the classroom. The collaborative aspect is something that always brings itself to the fore when we're talking about online interactions and creating of digital tools.
Right, Yatin. Thank you so much for sharing information on how to create content with our teachers. This was definitely a very informative part, and definitely our teachers are going to use and utilize it. So, thank you so much for being a part of the session.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ipsita. Thanks a lot, Sween. And I personally look forward to our teachers getting extremely creative with the Canva platform and sharing with us really wonderful content, which not only will be useful to them also, but it will be as a part of our community efforts. It is something that we're able to share with our community as well. And I think it also probably provides a very creative aspect with our teachers. This is a way that even we can have teachers become artists. In terms of what is the best worksheet design, what is the best lesson plan, which lesson plan is the most availing. So I think teachers should just let their creative juices flow and just create wonderful and engaging content for our students. Thank you teachers, thank you Sween, thank you Ikshita.
Thank you, Yatin, for joining us. So now, when Yatin has shared a lot about the content creation part, so now I would like to welcome one of our very, very special guests for the day. So I would like to welcome Dr. Kavita Ajay. We welcome you, ma'am. Ma'am is an inspiring motivational speaker, psychologist, and a life coach. She has established Akanksha Personality Development Center, and she has won a Lady Legend Award for 2018 and ITAP Award for the Best National Teacher. Ma'am has also developed Shiros, that is a community group for upliftment of women. It is pleasure having you, ma'am. Can you please share a message and share a few words with our teachers?
Yeah. It's very good morning. Thanks to Gurushala. Thanks to Dr. Ravikant Rao Garu, who inspired me a lot and involved me in this Gurushala interactive sessions. Warm welcome to all. And myself, I'm Dr. Kavita Ajay, as Tanvi introduced me. I don't know, is it Tanvi?
No,
Yeah.
ma'am, Tanvi
Okay.
is not
Okay.
there. Yeah.
So, okay, fine. So myself, I'm Dr. Kavita Ajay, life coach. I'm working as a teacher, government teacher at a government sector itself. And my motto is to bring the psychological awareness to the ground level, to the common man. So I designed a lot of workshops I'm conducting throughout the two Telugu states. So personal excellence and how to become an effective teacher, how to become an effective student, and different fields where the counseling is needed. So it's my pleasure to interact with you all, the Siddipet teachers. Uh, Soon I'm going to come back with all of you. I'm going to speak on life skills. So I conduct stress management sessions, couple management sessions, and art of living, art of smart living sessions. So in this session, to the Siddipet teachers, I'm going to speak on life skills, especially which are very useful to lead the happy life and the successful and meaningful life. So anything else? Shall I speak for more? Tanvi?
Right. So
Sorry.
as ma'am mentioned, we will be having, yeah, so we will be having an expert session with ma'am very soon on Gurushala, wherein ma'am will be talking about life skills and the other components.
Yes. So, okay.
Right.
Is it okay?
So thank you so much, ma'am, for being a part. Yes. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
ma'am.
So
It was
it's
pleasure
my
having you here.
it's my pleasure too. So Gurushala is doing a great job in training the teachers in this drastic situation you people are making to get ready for the next month to teach in what we call pandemic situations ని overcome కావడానికి చాలా you're training a lot. So my dear teachers, in the psychological perspective, I'm going to explain you in detail how we can utilize the life skills to deal a better life. సో మన లైఫ్లో లైఫ్ స్కిల్స్ అనేవి చాలా చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. సో యు నో వెరీ వెల్, అంటే మనం ఆల్రెడీ బిఎడ్లో సైకాలజీ చేసాము. మళ్ళీ ఇంకా సైకాలజీ నేర్చుకోవాల్సిన అవసరం ఉందా అని మనందరికీ అనిపిస్తూ ఉంటుంది. బట్ ఇన్ త్రూ అవుట్ అవర్ అంటే మన డైలీ లైఫ్లో వీ హ్యావ్ టు లెర్న్ ఎ లాట్. ఇంకా చాలా చాలా ఎస్పెషల్లీ టీచింగ్ ఫీల్డ్ ఇస్ teachers are ever learners. We have to be ready to learn from everyone. So where there is a chance, we have to make it out. So to learn something new. So I hope my session will help you a lot to learn the life skills. And నేర్చుకోవడం వరకే ఒకటే కాదండి, నేర్చుకున్న దానిని ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ పార్ట్ ఈస్ వెరీ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. మీరు నిన్న ఈరోజు కూడా గురుశాల వాళ్ళు నేర్పించిన ప్రతి ఆస్పెక్ట్ని కూడా how we implement in our classrooms makes the difference కదా. సో ఎప్పుడైనా మనం ఏది నేర్చుకున్నా మళ్ళీ ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ పార్ట్ని విజువలైజ్ చేసుకుంటూ కనుక మనం నేర్చుకున్నాం అనుకోండి, ఇట్ విల్ బి బెటర్. యా, సో ఐ హోప్ యూ గాట్ మై పాయింట్. అండ్ థ్యాంక్ యూ గురుశాల, థ్యాంక్ యూ రవికాంత్ రావు సార్, డిఈఓ సిద్దిపేట్, for introducing me and making me the part of Gurushala programs. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your valuable words. And your session is definitely going to be a very useful session for us. And we are very excited and looking forward to have your session very soon. So thank you so much for joining us.
Okay. Bye-bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye. So now when ma'am has shared the message for our teachers, now let us move ahead and have a look at the results of day 1 contest. So we are having our winners and special mentions of the day. So Raji Reddy Nima sir is the winner of yesterday's task. Sir has designed an interdisciplinary project that I would like to share with you all. So first of all, congratulations, sir, for designing this project and sharing with all of us. So this is the project. As we can see, it is an interdisciplinary project. The title of the project is Analysis of Food Items in our Day-to-Day Life. So sir has created this project and has incorporated various activities in this project. So as we can see, there are 7 to 8 activities in this particular project that sir has mentioned about. And lastly, sir has also mapped these activities with different subjects, with different concepts of various subjects. So if I talk about few of the activities like select food items, so he has mapped it with social sciences in terms of food habits and communication in terms of talking to people about these food habits and the selected food items. If we talk about ingredients analysis, then from maths and maths perspective, sir has mentioned fractions concept can be used over here. And from social sciences perspective, we can talk about ingredients. So this way, sir has created this interdisciplinary project for all of us, and this is like very attractive and a very innovative project, sir. Thank you so much, and many congratulations to you. So now we are also having few of the special mentions with us who have also created very interesting projects. So I'd like to have those names on the screen. Right. So few of the special mentions that we have are Sarita Rao ji. Ma'am has designed an interdisciplinary project on self-architecture and personality development, which is another innovative and a very new idea to share with. And another special mention is Harjeet Kaur ji, who has created an interdisciplinary project on sports persons. So these are few of the special mentions. So a very, very congratulations to all our winners and special mentions. So,
Right, Sween.
right. So, Ipshita, would you like to mention about the certificates with the teachers once again?
Right, Sween. So we congratulate all the winners, and we are really thankful for all the teachers for attending this day two training program with us and connecting with Gurushala and coming out with such innovative ideas and projects and sharing it with us on Gurushala. So an important thing to keep in mind is that at the end of day two, that is today, a Google assessment form will be shared with all the teachers, and the criteria for receiving the certificate of accomplishment is that teachers need to receive a score of 50% and above, and a certificate of accomplishment will be sent in for on their mail ID, the registered mail ID with us. We will
Right,
also like
Ipshita.
to that teachers can enroll in the course online going on the platform Gurushala by typing in the URL www.gurushala.co. They can enroll in the courses, and those after completing the independent module or the whole course, the certificates will be issued, and the teachers can see the certificates in the repository section of Gurushala.
Right. So now, Ipshita, would you like to add some concluding remark for our teachers as we are moving towards ending our session?
Right, Sween. Like we talked about in today's session, that how we can polish the practice skill in students, how we can inculcate the idea of assessing the students and how to evaluate the student, especially in the context of lockdown. So we talked about that how we can assess them through phone assessments where internet connectivity is not that good, or students are not having the access to uninterrupted internet connections. Then we also talked about how after the evaluation process, feedback is a very important part of the evaluation process as well, and how we can keep on motivating our students to do better by providing them with positive feedback and a goal targeted feedback. We also talked about the various post lockdown challenges that the teachers will face when the normal classroom resumes, and also a few courses that the teacher can go on the Gurushala platform and enroll themselves on it.
Right, Ipshita. So, in the concluding remarks, I would also like to clarify one thing, that when we are talking about the certificates, one is the certificate of accomplishment, which will be provided to the teachers who are receiving a score of 50% and above. And there will be a participation certificate, which will be given to the teachers who will not be receiving 50% and above. So these are going to be the certificates, and we will be sharing these certificates through mail, and link of assessment will be there in the description and in the chat as well. So you can have the link of assessment from there. Also, the certificate that we mentioned about course completion is an entirely different certificate that you get online when you complete particular modules of the courses. So this was about the certificates, and we are having a helpline number and an email on the screen. So if you need any kind of help, if you have any kind of queries, or you need any kind of assistance, you can call us and email us on this email ID. Also, on the ending
Right.
note, I would like to mention that it would be great if all of us can like, share, and subscribe the Facebook page and YouTube channel, so that we can stay connected and be a part of Gurushala family. So it was great having you all here, and thank you so much for being a part of session. Thank you so much. We are looking forward to meet you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thanks to all the teachers. Stay safe and stay healthy.